Hi all and welcome to the OCR Nationals Unit 8, and this is AO2 looking at innovations in ICT. And the objective of this is to research and present an piece of information on one innovation in ICT. And I thought I'd put up the previous slide looking at AO1 effects of ICT, and I've replaced some of the items on there, but here's the key thing. By the time you look at this video, some of the technologies probably won't be counted as current innovations. The technology world moves really fast. Remember Moore's law from AO1, so hardware and software manufacturers are going to keep up with the latest trends, try and push boundaries, resulting in new technologies roughly every 6 months. So the ones I've got on show here, we've got the Xboxes and new games consoles, iPads, 4G, Wi-Fi, as we talked about previously, TiVo and Sky Plus, catch-up television like BBC iPlayer, ITV Player 4OD, Microsoft Surface and tablet PCs, and new phones. But obviously, by the time you look at this, those may not be relevant, so do choose new and interesting innovations. Microsoft did a video not too far back on what they thought the future would be like. Let me just turn that down. Yep, we're in OK definition, and it's very good. I'm not going to play the full clip here, but you can find it in student resources if you're looking to see the high definition version. It really stresses how fast technology is going to move, with a video fictionally set in only 2018. It's not that far off, or if you are watching the video in 2018, hello. Hopefully the world looks like this, where you've got people from other sides of the world interacting with each other. We're learning language, we're looking at new things. The video goes on to looking at flights and desktops and offices and getting from A to B. And that's Microsoft's idea of what they're pushing for towards a new future where some of this stuff, metro interfaces and things, already exist. Others, I hope, are just along the way. So that's one of the videos, and that's Microsoft's interpretation of where innovation is going. Probably a good time to look at what innovation is in general. Well, innovation. I've got a couple of these quotes from the internet, much of them from Jet Muller's DTU presentation back in 2008. It covers it really nicely. The idea that innovation is a new angle. For example, things like the Nintendo Wii. It's not a traditional games console. Something like a new wrapping, the iPod Shuffle compared to the original MP3 players, or milk in a bag. Recipes, the idea of a new recipe to an existing product. Action RPG games where they combine two things together, or new and improved Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavors. It's the same thing, but it's been rebranded, it's changed ever so slightly, and that's a new innovation in the Ben & Jerry's range, or a new innovation in the RPG genre. A new technology in a product, i.e. cameras in phones, or a completely new market like the one laptop per child product in Africa, or tablet PCs moving from businesses to consumer devices. Lots of different things there. Jet Muller's brilliant presentation there does cover a lot of them. So that's the idea of innovation in ICT. Let's move on a bit further and look at the diffusion of how innovation happens. And we're looking at the innovation adoption curve by Rogers back in 1962. It's quite a nice graphic. It does explain how innovations are picked up by society. The quote underneath, I guess, is useful too, but it's probably not applicable anymore with the likes of Apple bring out their latest must-have gadget that even the what we would consider the late majority, the bulk of the consumers are now picking up the latest iPhones, the latest iPads, which are technical innovations. As much as I'm not a huge fan of them, but they are innovations, and I guess it's a traditional market graph. Does work in many cases. A lot of the IT industry, with new gaming consoles and stuff, unless it's got a big backer where the previous history has shown it to be brilliant, you're not going to get anything other than this diffusion curve. Innovators at the start, and then the laggards at the back. So, what drives technical innovation? Well, there's a good report on the forces that are driving games technologies by Roger Smith. Now, he's the Chief Tech Officer in the US Army, or was at the time that this report was published. And I've put it in the student resources with the video if you'd like to see a little bit more. Think of it as supplementary reading. It explains in depth how computer games are evolving and how useful computer gaming is to various industries. You've got all of this sort of stuff. He talks about the health industry, especially talks about the military and how they're using computer games technologies just to really expand on their knowledge of real situations. Because as we know from AO1, physics engines are absolutely top class, and they're the sort of things that they can use to simulate and the real world. So, what do you need to do as part of this innovation? You need to identify one innovation in ICT and describe its purpose. You also need to explain how it works and consider whether it meets that purpose. Do remember that you cannot focus on a specific product, as it says at the bottom there. You can't say iPad. You do have to say tablet PCs in general. You can't say the Microsoft Surface. You have to say either laptops or tablets or notebooks, or if you're talking about the traditional surfaces, touchscreen tables. So identify what the benefits and the limitations of each one of the innovations is. Do explain it with examples if you need to, and that's where the iPad bits comes in if you're going to use that sort of stuff. And then really, hit the nail on the head on whether that innovation is progressing or stagnating. Is it getting better, or unfortunately for some of them, they are lagging behind as new innovations come through? And you need to pick something that's driving in technology, and then you can assess whether it's actually getting better or worse. Have a go at that and see how you get to.